Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm disappointed, but I can't say I'm surprised. I honestly would have been surprised if this had gone differently. I have lost my appeal regarding the accidental live stream. The judgment was just affirmed in its entirety, but there is absolutely no reason given for it being affirmed. You guys might recall, about a year and a half ago, I published this video that said our government and judiciary is totally corrupt, which is why I lost my case, and I can prove it. Well, I basically posted that video, which was itself a reposting of a very old video that I had done before I started doing videos on the Acerthorn banner. And basically I just laid out all the reasons why it doesn't matter what the law says. All that matters is what the judge is just going to do what he wants regardless. That's basically what I said, and I brought literally hundreds of sources to back it up. And so no, it wasn't a year and a half ago. I checked it. It was actually a little bit over 2 years ago. Okay, basically, Section 1-7 of that video, where I discussed the little things. One of the things that I mentioned that they will often do is they will just issue summary dispositions, summary judgments. They will just issue the shortest ruling they can possibly issue and completely ignore all of your arguments. It doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter the evidence you bring, they'll just issue a ruling that just declares that you're in the wrong, and that's it. Case closed. You lose. Well, that's what happened here. All the Court of Appeals did was just declare that my case that the judgment of the district court was going to be affirmed. Doesn't matter. They didn't even acknowledge a single one of my arguments. Not one. They didn't explain how my arguments were erroneously placed. They didn't explain how any of my case law citations were inapposite. They just didn't do any of that. It was a blanket, just affirmed. They didn't even try to explain how I was in the wrong. I was in the wrong because I just was. Simply because fuck you. That's it. That's all they did. That's honestly all I expected them to do. I went through these motions. I went through the motions of filing the appeal because I didn't have any other choice. Like, literally, what other choice did I have at all? Like, period. Just at all. The government has set it up so that they can just blatantly ignore their own laws simply because they don't like you. And I mean just because they don't like you. And that's literally all that it was here. It was just because they don't like me. And it wasn't because I was legally in the wrong. No. I already explained. I already provided countless explanations and countless rebuttal arguments to explain how I was legally in the right. But it doesn't matter. They don't like me. Therefore, my case is frivolous simply because I'm the one who filed it, and absolutely nothing else. I said it in my video about how the government is so corrupt. that this is just a common tactic they will use to just not even explain their rulings. And that's what happened here. That's all that happened here. That's one of the many tactics they will use. And for the record, it's happened recently in the district court as well. Yeah. I tried to sue Kretosis because he is a complete scumbag who deserves to be sued. The district judge, he literally just said that the case was frivolous and meritless. He didn't give one sentence of explanation. It was literally just one sentence. Having reviewed the proposed complaint in its capacity as general duty judge, the court determines that the complaint is frivolous and meritless, and accordingly directs the clerk of court to not accept the complaint for filing. That's it. That was literally his entire review. He didn't explain how it was frivolous. All he did was just declare arbitrarily that it was frivolous, and that's it. That's all he wrote. He didn't even attempt to justify it beyond that. I predicted this. I predicted that this is all that would happen. Now, I know all of you can just insist, but that isn't the reason why you lost the case. You lost it because it really was frivolous. No, it wasn't. And I already explained all of that. You want to convince me that I was actually legally in the wrong? I want you to address every single argument that I actually put before the court. Every single last one of them. Either address 100% of the claims or kiss 100% of my ass. Yes, you have all won this. You've won. But it's only because the special guest referee just blatantly allowed the other wrestler to hit me with a steel chair right in front of him, and then counted to 3 as fast as he possibly could, even though I had kicked out. That's basically what happened here. And then you argue that I lost because my opponent was just better than me. I've offered you an opportunity. I'm here. You want to actually convince me. You want to actually subjectively convince me that I was legally in the wrong this whole time? Address the arguments that I put forward. Don't just go, nuh-uh. That's what the court did, and that's what I predicted they would do. That's what I said they would do in that corruption video that I had made many years ago and reposted in 22. Alright. That's what happened. And if you want to convince me otherwise, you're not going to do it. I mean, you probably don't want to convince me. You probably think that I'm just a lost cause, even though I'm not. I've given you the avenue to convince me of it. And if you disagree, if you think you shouldn't have to address it, well then it proves that I'm in the right about the whole damn thing. Alright? All that proves is that you know you can't actually refute them. Just like how the Court of Appeals only they affirmed my judgment without even addressing the arguments I raised on appeal, simply because they knew they couldn't refute them. They couldn't refute the arguments that I placed. So they decided to just ignore them, and that's all they did. That's literally all they did. None of you were actually going to take me up on this challenge. Because none of you, not even the actual lawyers, Not even the people who actually practice law for a living, who have been mocking me this whole time. Leonard. Not even them. They are not going to be able to actually show me reasoned arguments and case law citations proving that any of the actual arguments that I put forth are actually meritless. Like they said, you've consistently ignored my arguments simply because you can't refute them. And no, simply pointing out and simply saying that doesn't mean what I think it means isn't the same thing as refuting them. I've already pointed this out when the district court case got thrown out. I pointed out that this is just how they operate. It's their MO. And then this judgment comes along that fails to acknowledge even a single one of the arguments that I put forth. And they just... And they just throw the whole... And they just do exactly what I predicted they would do. They ignored everything that I said and affirmed the judgment just because I'm the appellant. And if you want to actually subjectively convince me of that, I've told you how. Nobody's gonna do it. Oh, and if you want to argue against my argument that the government, generally speaking, is corrupt to the core, Section 1-8 of that video is how I want you to do that. All right. Of course, it's been 2 whole years, and none of you have been able to show it yet. Not one of you have been able to offer even a single rebuttal argument that was in conformity to disprove even a portion of the video that I put out. None of you have been able to do it. And none of you will be able to do it because I'm not wrong on that. I am not wrong. I wasn't wrong on this case either. It's just that the judges don't like me. It's just that the judge doesn't like me. And absolutely nothing else. And none of you are even going to try to prove me wrong. You're going to think I'm wrong. But there is not one of you, not even the lawyers, who actually will even try to prove me wrong other than just saying that I'm wrong, which is precisely what the court has just done. I don't know what else to say. Acerthorn out.